Hi, guys. My name is Ev Zervadakis, and I am your local holistic healing astrologer. So, what I do is I take the holistic approach to look at your astrology and to help you live a wonderful, blissful life. And when you apply the principles of astrology, you get amazing results. And then I also tap into all the other metaphysical tools in my toolbox, whether they're psychic readings or automatic writing or just talking to your spirit guides. It doesn't matter because the end product is to get results for you. So today we're going to talk about the soul contract, what it is, who has it, how it relates to astrology, and who makes the soul contract, and how does free will go into a soul contract? Does a soul contract mean that we're predestined and we're going to have an awful life because it was programmed into my soul contract? So let's start with, what is a soul contract? A soul contract is a document with an understanding of what you're going to do during this life here on earth. And it is an agreement. Well, who is it an agreement with? It's an agreement between you and your creator. If you don't know what the creator is, take a look around at nature. Nature was created by the creator. I call my creator God. If that offends you, well, choose a different word. But all this stuff in nature, the cosmos, the planets, everything came from the creator. Well, we as human beings have this unique ability to co-create. And because God made us in his image, which means that we're creators too. So before we came down here, we decided that we're going to learn a bunch of different things and we're going to do a bunch of different tasks. However, those are all possibilities. And we have to factor in quantum physics because now there's a science that could prove all this stuff. So I start with the astrology chart because that is the interpretation of your soul contract. It is in the stars. And a good astrologer like myself could look at your soul contract, the astrology natal chart, and I could tell you what your soul was thinking about, what resonates with your soul, and what are all the possibilities for you in this lifetime. So that's an amazing thing. And that's what your soul contract is. It's represented by your astrology natal chart. If you haven't had an astrology natal chart done, I recommend highly that you get one done for everyone in your family. And in the near future, I foresee everybody knowing their natal chart, and it will be used in the future in all businesses. It will be sort of like, what's your blood type? And everybody goes from there. So it's like going to the hospital or the doctor and getting all your lab work done so you get a good idea of what your health is about. The astrology chart will tell you what your purpose is, what you want to do in this life, what your emotional makeup is, what type of partnerships are good for you, what type of career is good for you, what are your possibilities in your ancestry, where did you come from, your past life, if you believe in all that, and what you're striving for in this life, what's your purpose as far as even your religious purpose or your spiritual purpose. And everybody has the same planets and the same signs and the same houses, but it's all scrambled up. It's like, random, but not really random because I don't believe in randomness, but it's all very specific language. It's like all these letters in the alphabet. There are 26 of them in our language, and they all scrambled up and they make all these different words, and you put all these words together and you get a paragraph, and then you put all those paragraphs together and you get a chapter of a book, and then you put all those chapters together and then you have a whole book. So that is what your soul contract is. You could talk and talk and talk about your soul contract just by looking at your astrology natal chart. So schedule online right now today with me if you haven't had it done. It is so darn cheap. I resist from raising the prices because I want it affordable to even the people that have no money. And if you think $120 is a lot of money for an astrology natal chart, I can't help you there, because it will tell you stuff about your past, your present, your future. And what kind of a price tag do you put on that information? And the time that it takes to get that, synthesized and stuff, and the knowledge that I have, it's like these are the tools and it's at your fingertips, and it's very thorough. It covers everything, and it's also interactive. You could ask me questions if something's not clear. So don't hesitate, because it's so revealing. And it is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life as far as helping people, is to do natal chart consultations for people. I've helped people with their anxiety, with depression, with this feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing here. And it's just like, what career? I don't know what I do. Should I, continue with my marriage and all that? And it just gives you clarity. Now, let's get something straight. I don't give you answers. I've had some people ask me, well, what do I do? What should I do? I can't answer, but I do give you lots of information as far as what your chart reveals, what your strengths are, what some of the weaknesses are. And it resonates with your soul because it's a soul contract representation. And you look at that and you hear me saying stuff, and I never met you before, and you're like, oh yeah, I used to always do that when I was little. I love music and I used to love to dance and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, well, how do you know that? How do you figure this out? Well, that's my job. It's my language. And that's what my job is, to translate for you. But once you understand that there is truth to this chart, and then you could start using it as like, okay, I'm going to go in this direction, because then all these things start coming together. You're like, my gut was telling me that I shouldn't do what, the guidance counselor told me to do. That didn't really feel right, but he's a guidance counselor. But I always liked my music, and nobody really said anything about me being, in the music industry. Okay. So, and then you might say, well, how am I going to make money doing music and art? Well, let me tell you, everybody had a day job while they were trying to build who they were. Elvis Presley did, a lot of other musicians, artists did. And you know what? They persevered and they made it. So always follow your dream, always follow your gut. But the soul contract is what we're talking about. And then, as I said, how does it relate to astrology? Your astrology chart is a representation of your soul contract, okay? If you have any questions, I highly recommend that you direct message me, you email me, you call me. I'm here for you guys. These videos are for you. And then just ask a question. I will answer them either with an email or something like that, just so you're not in the dark, okay? But it's best if you use email, text, or direct message. If you leave a question on the bottom of the YouTube, I might not get to it as fast, because I answer the texts and emails within 24 hours, sometimes quicker. So why make a contract? Well, the contract is a reminder and it's a roadmap for your life. So let's analogize the roadmap. A roadmap is, okay, we're going to go from Virginia Beach to Los Angeles, California. That's a long road, but you know what? There are many ways to get to Los Angeles, California. From here, from Virginia Beach, we could fly, you could drive, you could go on mass transit, like on a train. All right, you getting the picture now? So there's different ways to get there. Well, let's say we're driving. So if we're driving, we could take the scenic tour, we could take a detour, we could take off at an exit that was the wrong exit, so then we loop around. That could be like a retrograde, where you go back and start again because you're making like a little, oops, wrong exit. It gives you more time to get there and all that. So astrology, there's different ways to get to your purpose, which is part of your soul contract. It's your purpose. But the other thing is if you fly, you could fly direct, fast, or you could take different connecting flights. You know what I'm saying? You could go down to Texas and then back up, or you could just go and stop in Chicago. You could take multiple stops with the airplane, or you could go a little bit in a car, a little bit in the airplane. It's all up to you. And that's the last bit I'm going to talk about is free will. Now, your chart, because if we add in quantum physics means that time is a continuum. That means that you could go back into time and then rewrite history and then move forward. And that's how a lot of healing is done. So with this free will, you could look at something in your chart and you say, that doesn't resonate with me, and maybe that's what I started out doing, thinking I'm going to do, but I'm going to focus on a different area of the chart. That's not me. I don't want it to be me, but I have free will. I have the choice whether to take on this path or not. Okay? So free will is extremely important. That's why you very rarely hear me do predictions. I'm not one of those astrologers that will say, okay, be careful getting in the car because we got a Mercury retrograde. That to me is highly suggestive. So now you're minding your own business, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh my gosh, they said that accidents could happen today. They said that I might lose money in the stock market. They said, who said? No, you got free will here. So these suggestive astrology predictions and stuff, yes, there's a certain amount of maybe truth to it, but this is how I do it. I generalize it and I tell you what energies are in motion. And I have an upcoming video that I'll talk a little bit about, which is life after COVID with the Pluto moving out of Capricorn, going into Aquarius. It's going to be a long video. And then I'm also going to talk about the food industry and just business itself, how it's changed because of COVID. All right. The world has changed. And I'm not saying it's bad or good, but it's different. And many years ago, before COVID started, I had a vision of a deck of cards shuffling. And everything was being mixed up. You know how you shuffle a deck of cards? That's how I saw the whole socioeconomic stratus. What do I mean by that? I mean that People that don't have money are going to change positions, and people that have tons of money are going to change. Everything's going to be shuffled up. The professions, and look, even now, you got people that used to work minimum wage, you're getting paid a lot more money for doing non-education related jobs, like working in a restaurant, getting paid decent money because there's such a shortage. So people are getting paid more money and they still won't take the jobs. So it's just a different feel, different energy. And I'm going to say it's because Pluto, which is a major transformative planet, it's rebirthing. Okay, we're in a new age. We're in Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, 2,500 something years. And now we got Pluto, slow moving, long term, years and years and years of influence, is leaving from Capricorn, business, structure, big pharma, big government, right? Going into Aquarius. Now it's lighter. It's not earth, it's air. It's social. It's awakening. It's rebellion. It's the truth. It's scientific. It's genius. It's electronic. So I'm sure that resonates with you, and I'm sure you're going to be thinking about it. And I hope that you got something out of this YouTube. If you like to see stuff written down, I have a blog on holistichealingastrology.com. Click on the blog. Sign up for the blog. That comes out once a week for your enjoyment. Then we also do once a month a newsletter that kind of gives the weather forecast for the astrology. We go into the signs and what's prominent. I also do the angel numbers, and I highlight an angel. So that way you get some kind of metaphysical information. So even the newsletter has a holistic approach. I do all this to help you move from challenges where you're stuck into freedom, not stuck. Okay? And let me know how you like this video. Give me some comments. Also, subscribe so you know when each video comes out. I try to schedule that as well. So I thank you again. Light and love and many blessings to all of you.